I think I might be able to put this sifter over the top of the bed. I'm only going to do some at the top surface, not down deep, just to get those top weeds and a few rocks that's near the top to have a nice seed setting bed. But looks like the jacket is going to have to come off. Grab out any grass roots that I see here. Now let's see if we can do this. Apparently we can. that garden rake. So that's good for pushing stuff. But when you want to pick big bits out of smaller bits, then you use something like this. I'm just putting this out in the pathway because remember, I'm going to redo the pathways and we'll take up all this and sift it. So, now, I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to get wheelbarrow load of compost to put on that. I think I should collect some dandelion flowers for dandelion tea. So yeah, I was getting through this and you see the rocks are really quite small. And that's what I sifted out. So, but now there's not a whole lot of organic matter in it. That will dry out so fast on a warm sunny day, so I have to cover that with compost, even just for that, but also of course for fertility. I got 2/3 of the way through and I realized all the stones that I was taking out. This is the biggest stone that's in this bed, so I said, forget it, I don't need to sift that over. Now there's a little bit of sifted compost right here. That was on Saturday. I was sifting here, and when the soil, the compost is wet, it really clumps together and makes it harder to sift. So I gave up. And in the forecast, it was forecasted to be sunny and dry today and also tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to sift through and make every bed with compost on it. So that those two I just showed you, these three here. That one got a good dose of compost last year. This one here, I was kind of running out of inspiration for sifting them, but that, as you can see, has some big rocks in it. We'll see when the time comes whether I got the inspiration to sift through it or not. These here, I don't need to put compost on because I put the potatoes down and then I put a layer on top of just rough compost. But that one especially. But today, because I'm letting that compost dry out a little bit, I've been hardening these off. So all of these cole crops, they've hardened off now and they can be planted out. Back here, these are beans. What I decided to do one day was to plant out these trays. And a full tray, 40 plants, is half a bed. And I would put one half of the bed as transplants and the other half as direct sow and see what the difference is. Well, I set these 2 weeks ago. It would have been better if I had waited until May the 25th to plant them, because they're up and the roots are coming out the bottom already. I mean, there's some that are just coming up, but most of them are up, and like I said, the roots are coming out the bottom. It would have been better if I could have waited another week before I got to this point, and then I would be sure that when I plant them out, there'd be no frost. But as it stands, over this week, I'm going to plant them out. There's another bit of colder weather forecast for Friday, Saturday, and so maybe on Sunday I'll plant them out and hope we don't get any frost after that. That will be June the 4th or something like that. What I'm doing with hardening them off is that I bring them out here in the morning after, well, for these, once it gets a little warmer, but they're in the shade, and then as the sun comes around for the first few days, I'll bring them inside. So the sun is just getting here now, so I'm going to bring them inside. This is the first day the beans are out, and so I'm going to bring those in and we get on to planting out this stuff. I have too many plants, or not enough garden space, one of it. It's the latter. You can't have too many plants, eh? I cleaned out this bed yesterday. That was the bed that along the back there you see those little bits sticking up, the brown bits. So that's where I cut off the Jerusalem artichoke. They're coming up, and it seems like there's a lot of tubers down there, and up so far they're right out by the bricks, so there's a lot of tubers. I didn't dig them up last year. This fall I'll dig them up and I'll just plant about 20 back there. There's 10 that I planted there initially, and I had put flower seeds in here of several different flowers, but I didn't see any except there's the columbine. There's 3 columbine plants there, the long spurred something or other, I can't remember the last word. And this is hollyhock. There's 7 plants that I can count there of hollyhock. I'm going to plant this out with those cole crops, and then I'll work my way, I'll weed as I go, and plant that bed, I guess. Then later on, once I got everything else done with compost, if I decide I've got some extra compost, I can just put it in around the plants. These, remember the ones I started back in the winter? Thinking, hey, maybe I can get them to even go to full maturity over the winter. But no, they didn't mature in the grow room, but they didn't die either. So the plan is to put those out there now and see what happens during the summer. This is one of the things that you kind of have to get down on your knees for. As far as I know, they're supposed to be planted a foot apart. Good, I let them get a little bit dry, so they're coming out quite nicely. That's why they're a little bit laid down like that, actually. I'll take off that leaf. But I'll only be able to put 2 here because the Jerusalem artichoke are right there. Take those rocks and throw them over there. This one has a label, Early Jersey Wakefield. Oh, he's wet too. So I don't know why that first one was dry and this one's wet. Now this bed, of course, is full sun. Might get a little bit of shade from that maple tree first thing in the morning. But other than that, here we're getting root bound. Did I say I have another plan for the squash? I'm not going to put them in beds, but you'll see that later on when I actually plant the squash. This one is the worst of the lot. It's really root bound. So they were growing there, and maybe they just need more root space, that you can't actually bring them to maturity in something this size. I think there's one more of those. I'm going to go over and bring over another tray there now of transplants. This is the last of them. This one never got anywhere near forming a head. I'm going to break off those lower leaves and see what happens. It's not overly root bound either. I'm putting them a little deeper than what they were planted in the pots. Like I say, I don't know if that's going to cause a problem or not. Okay, so what should we do? I've got 3 purple Vienna. I can put them a little closer together. And then there's 1 Falstaff Brussels sprouts there. Munchkin broccoli, Arcadia broccoli. I think I'm going to put this best Arcadia broccoli outside. It'll kind of shade out the cabbage in behind it once it gets higher. That's why I was kind of humming and hawing there, but I got that cabbage planted there now, and there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to take it up again. Oh, just right for the root system. We've been having some rain, and we're going to have rain again in a couple of days, so these will do just fine. Now, 3 purple Vienna kohlrabi, like I say, they can go along in one row. They can be a little closer together. That's why I want to sift out the beds. See, you get trying to plant stuff and you keep running into rocks here and there, and it gets frustrating. Last year up in the other bed, the kohlrabi, they were really hard. So I'm hoping that here, with less weeds around them and etc., that they will grow more properly. This is purple Vienna. Fairly certain I have white Vienna around here somewhere. Purple Vienna. Purple Vienna. Now, I think I should take up those columbine and put them in those one of those containers, or each one in its own container, and then just keep on planting out cole crops along here. I would assume that they don't have a very big root system yet. Actually, you know what? That's 2. And that's 3. Tack that one in there. And I'll put them somewhere else at some point. So long as they survive my rough transplanting here now. I'll just put them down like that. I've got soil in the house. There's another one right here. Another one here. They'll do just fine. I'll turn off the camera and bring you back when I've got everything done, and I'll show you what I've got done. There are some things that I feel it's good to give you a time lapse when I'm doing it. Then there are other things that, because I don't do everything all at once, I'll just show you what I'm doing and then bring you back when I'm done, which this is one of those things. In this bed now, you've got the bigger plants because those were the ones over the winter. You see, they're starting to form heads, some of them. And I have 2 rows, except for that one there where there's 3. That's a purple Vienna kohlrabi. But I had that row of Jerusalem artichoke, so I could only put 2 rows of the cabbage, and where there's broccoli, Arcadia broccoli, Falstaff Brussels sprouts is the purple one. We got Everest broccoli, Munchkin broccoli. And so there's 20 plants I put in this bed, 21 actually, because the 3 purple Vienna kohlrabi. Down here now, these was the other ones that there's no, well, there are some cabbage here, but they were the smaller plants. And we look up there, and that's where the other bed is. This bed I could put 3 across because there's nothing else in there. So there's 3 across, 10 down. There's 30 plants in this bed, and I just took them as they went, so they're kind of intermingled. Snowball cauliflower, early Jersey Wakefield cabbage, a few more snowball cauliflower. That's a snow crown cauliflower. Munchkin broccoli, Everest broccoli, snow crown cauliflower, Falstaff Brussels sprouts. There's a red express cabbage back there. There's a couple more red express cabbage here somewhere. Everest broccoli, early Jersey Wakefield cabbage, Arcadia broccoli. So they're spread throughout. I tried several places to grow cabbage, and I'm kind of really disappointed with myself because I believe that I should be able to grow them, and so far I haven't been successful. This, they'll get full sun here, and they'll get quite a bit of air movement, so those 2 things will be taken care of. Because the pond is right there, I'm hoping that the soil stays relatively moist just because I'm backing up the water there. But I'll keep checking the soil moisture level, and if I have to water it, well, like I say, the pond's right there, and just dip the watering can in and water these 2 beds. I've seen toads in the pond, especially the small one there, which is a little deeper. Hopefully there's eggs in there. We'll check. I think the eggs hatch sometime in early June, so we'll see if they're utilizing the pond for that. Birds, however, they come, especially down here where the water is lower, they're there all the time getting a drink or taking a bath. So there's 2 predators that are quite attracted to this area that would be controlling slugs, cabbage moth larvae, and any other caterpillars. So that's another reason why I'm hopeful that it'll do well here. And then I had 10 left. 3 of them was the purple Vienna kohlrabi, so I could put them closer together here and then put a kale over on the other end. I already had that other purple Vienna kohlrabi planted before I realized that, but then there's a couple cabbage, a couple kale. That's a dwarf green curled kale there. You notice I've left a space here. I'm going to plant 2 vining squash here, 1 in each corner, and let them grow out across the lawn like I did last year. And there's going to be another no-dig potato bed here, and I'll have 2 there. I'll have a maximum in one of the beds and 2 sea peppo in the other bed. As for doing more sifting, I guess that's come to an end for this year, because you see all the vegetation is starting to grow. I have to get onto this now. Everything is growing, so this kind of stuff is going to have to wait either till next year, or maybe I'll do some of the potato beds in the fall. Thanks for watching. I'm just out early in the morning finishing off this video now. It's a beautiful clear day today. We're going to have complete sun all day, so hopefully we'll get some done.